In progress.
Okay, students, I wanted to illustrate concise writing, and we're going to look at lesson two in the mini lessons. So if you want to know where this is found, when you go into the open session document, there's a tab and it has all the miniature lessons here. This is from Strunk and White's The Elements of Style, which is a book that I highly recommend. These were inspired by some of the lessons in that book. And if you want to know in particular, there's a workbook that you can buy. But I wanted to save you some hassle of getting that by just providing it to you within this tutoring. I'm going to be looking at this paragraph here. One of the things I really think we need to work on, which does take time, is writing more concisely. Okay, so we're going to take you through here. And I realize that you've done these for homework, but I want to illustrate the thinking that goes into taking a sentence and revising it to be concise. This is one of the most powerful skills that you can come up with. And then I'll show you a little trick that I use for making my writing more concise because it's really difficult in the beginning until you get the hang of it. Okay, so students identify and remove repeated ideas and duplicate modifiers. Repeating a word or idea weakens writing. Say it once and say it well. So look at this sentence here. The movie was long in length and full of unnecessary filler parts. Well, if we revise that and make it more concise, the movie was long and full of filler. Okay. Um, Now, we don't want to go too far and say the movie was bloated because it's very descriptive in a way, but it's kind of vague. So there's a fine balance here that if you make it too concise, you're not being precise enough. You're not providing enough detail. So we don't want to fall into either extreme. So let's just take this straightforward lesson here and see what we can do with it. So if I was going to rewrite this, the tall skyscraper rose high above the city buildings. Well, skyscrapers typically are tall. That's almost a redundancy, meaning that we don't, it's almost like saying a big, large man. Okay, so we can say the skyscraper. Now, if you're not sure how to do this, why don't you just take one word at a time? Rose above the city. That might be one way to do it. Or you might say, the skyscraper. The skyscraper was high above the other buildings, or even above the other buildings. Is there a perfect answer to this? I'm not sure. Okay. Um, you might even say the, the skyscraper rose high above the buildings. Either of these are an improvement. Okay. Okay. Let's look at this. Each and every student needs to be ready and prepared. Well, okay. Each and every, we can just limit that to students to be ready. Okay. That's all. Students need to be prepared. Another trick here, guys, is don't be shy about this. Don't be too scared of ruining your sentence or getting rid of it. Notice what I've done here. When you come to your writing, instead of erasing it, just keep it intact and maybe in parentheses. Let's say this is a paragraph of yours. So you make it concise within the parentheses. Okay. So just start to say every student. And that way you can kind of see, you can go back to it. Okay. The other tip is that if you are revising a paragraph, and I'm going to start to show you that today in this video, you might want to do a sweep through like this fairly quickly and then wait till you're done with the paragraph and then let it sit, come back to it, and then see what's there. Oftentimes, we're so busy and so um, intentional about making it more concise that it almost works against itself. So I like to revise in stages. Hey, we've improved it, right? And that's where you start. Um, okay, we're going to skip now because you get the idea. But so, for example, meet together. Well, if we are going to meet, we're going to be together, right? Or you can say we will be together at 3 p.m., right? We will be together at 3 p.m. Or we plan to meet at 3 p.m., right? Or we will meet at 3 p.m. So just try different things here. So read the paragraph once all the way through, then reread sentence by sentence and revise to remove repeated words. Duplicate modifiers. So modifier is a word that, like an adjective, that changes a noun. Or ideas that say the same thing. Now, modifier can also be an adverb if you're talking about he walked slowly and like a sloth. Kind of redundant, right? Those are repeat modifiers. Or ideas that say the same thing. Keep the original meaning, but say each idea only once. Do not add new ideas. When finished, reread your revision aloud to check for clarity and smooth flow. I cannot emphasize this enough. I'm going to ask you guys to make your writing more concise in the next homework, I believe. So I'm going to grab some water, and when I come back, we're going to revise this paragraph. So what I'd like you to do at this point is pause the video and revise the paragraph. Okay. Use the same principles for revising individual sentences. But here's the difference. You want to read the entire paragraph first out loud. Then go back to just get a sweep through. Now, don't take too much time. Don't overthink it. Just make some improvements upon that sentence by sentence by sentence, just as though it was like individual sentences that you were trying to make more concise. Okay. If you have to, read through directions again. So I'm going to give you a chance to pause that video now. Okay. Now that you're back, if you revise that paragraph, congratulate yourself because we learn more when we make mistakes and when we try something first and then we watch somebody else do it. And that's a valuable learning principle here. Okay. So let's go right into it. Okay. What I'm going to do is copy this paragraph below. All right. The meeting began early in the morning at around 8 a.m. The morning. Okay. 8 a.m. is already morning. We don't need to be told it's in the morning. Okay. The meeting began at 8 a.m. and the team gathered together. So first of all, I made a mistake here. Let me read this whole thing out loud. The meeting began early in the morning at around 8 a.m. and the team gathered together in the same room to discuss future plans. Several students shared their personal opinions and thoughts, repeating similar ideas about how the project should move forward ahead. The leader emphasized the main and central point of the discussion, explaining it clearly and in detail so everyone could fully understand it completely. By the end result of the meeting, the group had made a final and lasting decision that they all agreed upon together. Okay, obvious redundancies in here, but as you can see, I'll take one phrase or one sentence at a time. And the team gathered in the same room to discuss. Well, do you need to be told that they're in the same room? See, some of this is just wordiness. The detail of in the same room is not actually necessary unless this is a story in which you're not sure. Like some of them might be outside, some of them are inside, but that's not a substantive part of this sentence. So it's really just not necessary. The room. Gather together. Well, when the team gathers, guess what? They're together. The meeting began early. Well, early is subjective, right? Is it earlier than usual? No, we're not emphasizing that. So that's not needed. The meeting began at 8 a.m. and the team gathered to discuss future plans. Okay. How about this? And the team discussed future plans. People, what are you trying to communicate here? That there's a team that's discussing future plans, right? So that's what guides you in this. Several students shared their personal opinions. Well, opinions tend to be personal anyway, right? Shared their opinions and thoughts. Well, opinions are thoughts. No, we're not saying beliefs, right? That would be slightly different than opinions. And we would want to probably keep that. Several students shared their opinions, repeating similar ideas about how the project should move forward ahead. Well, okay, I know there's stuff we can lose here. I'm not sure what. So what I'm going to do here is just get rid of what I know I can get rid of. Forward ahead. How about move ahead or move forward? Several students shared their opinions. They're common, right? Similar ideas. How about shared similar opinions regarding similar ideas? Okay, well, ideas obviously about how the project should move ahead, but we don't need ideas because watch what happens here. Watch how getting rid of that actually doesn't take away any meaning. Several students shared similar opinions, repeating. Okay, so the similar part of that is not needed. Repeating, well, watch. Several students shared similar opinions about how the project should move ahead. That's it. The leader emphasized the main and central point. Well, main and central pretty much synonymous here, right? The leader emphasized the main point of the discussion. Well, obviously, main point is of the discussion. You already know they're having a discussion because it's up here. So I don't need to be told that again. That's kind of understood. The main point, main points, right? Explaining it clearly and in detail. Wait a minute, I can move this. The leader emphasized the main points, explained it clearly. Well, that's kind of the same thing. And in detail, okay. So remember what's being communicated here. A leader is communicating some main points and details so that everyone could fully understand. So emphasize the main points is synonymous with explain. The leader explained the main points. Almost a contradiction. Main points and in detail. with many details so everyone could fully understand it completely. Well, fully and completely are the same thing. Now, at this point, I want to stop and say, wait a minute. Now, see what happens when you start to make it more concise. Suddenly, you're going to say, wait a minute. Now I can see more clearly through the fog. Watch what I do now. The leader clarified the main points of the discussion. I think that's probably needed. Because when you explain something, you clarify it. The leader clarified the main points of the discussion. Now, you might be thinking, well, but he did talk about details, didn't he? That's why we have this up here so we can go back and catch what was really being said. The leader emphasized main and central point of the discussion. Right. Obviously, this is so that they can make a decision that they all agree upon, right? The leader clarified the main points of the discussion and necessary details. Now, obviously, I'm changing this quite a bit, but guess what? There's nothing sacred about the original words here. It's called killing your babies. If I'm so in love with my words and what I wanted to say here, I'm not going to be a good writer. And this is what you guys have to learn. It's a mindset in which you're willing. I know it sounds terrible, but I didn't invent the phrase. It's invented by writers. Killing your babies means that you get rid of your precious words because the reader doesn't care about these extra words. They don't know what you were trying to express in all these like redundancies and these big words, right? So when they see your tight and concise paragraph, they're going to thank you because they're going to get the message. They don't need this extra stuff. The leader clarified necessary details. By the end result of the meeting, by the end, I would argue you don't even just say end of the meeting. By the end, but I'll do it gradually, just so that I don't. It's easier to see if you do it gradually, right? By the end of the meeting, the group had made, what is it made? A final and lasting, well, final is lasting, a final decision they agreed upon together. Obviously, they all agree it is together by definition. Okay. Now, I know I can get rid of more words here, but I just wanted to show you the gradual process of making it shorter, finishing, and then coming back to the sentence and saying, okay, now what can I get rid of? By the end of the meeting, by the end, the group made a decision, unanimous decision. Ta-da. That's it, folks. We're going to do a word count here and I'll be finished. So look at your word count here. 90 words is what we started with. We ended up with 46. We lost half of this. And that is how you write more concisely. It takes practice. Now, let's read this out loud together. Because guess what? The beautiful part of this, ladies and gentlemen, is once you have this paragraph so tight, it's easier to see how your essay is moving forward in the discussion. You're trying to answer a question. You have a prompt. And if you have too many words here, you are blind to the skeleton, to the main ideas here, because it's overly bloated. And guess what? If you got rid of 44 words, That's 44 more words. You could say something different. You could add to this and you can have fun with it, right? The meeting began at 8 a.m. and the team discussed future plans. Several students shared similar opinions about how the project should move ahead. The leader clarified the main points of the discussion and necessary details. We could have even cleared it up more. Um, Clarified can also be summarized, I think. Discussion. Look at that. None of this is really needed. Look at that. By the end, the group had made a unanimous decision. Wow. Okay, let's check this out. Word count. 39 words. Okay, guys. All right. So that's it. So go back to your open session document. Look at your writing. And I mean, I could show you any writing at random. Look at how long this is. I'm not trying to criticize anyone. I'm just looking at your writing. Okay. We're just looking at your writing, not you. We're not judging you at all. We're recognizing you have the skills to be able to make this happen. So, how do you start? Again, it's overwhelming when you look at this. So, the thing to do, just work on it bit by bit. Okay. See what you're saying there. And if you're really stuck, just highlight the most important words. Okay. Right? That's all important because it's evidence, right? And then what you do is you stop looking at what you wrote. Just don't look at it. Get yourself a blank page. Maybe jot down these words that you highlighted here, right? Just jot down Rachel, different emotions, and parentheses put evidence. And now, obviously, there's more words here that are important, right? Younger versions of herself. Then you get yourself a blank page, which I can't find. Where did it go? Oh boy. Yeah, so you'd go down here, Rachel. I forgot which words I highlighted, but emotions stay in you plus evidence plus, let's say your commentary, you highlighted 5 important words you think we all feel. Stay young. That's it. That's if you really get stuck. Then you take these words here, all of this, and you expand it just by explaining it. Rachel explains that emotions can stay inside you because you can feel them at any age, period. According to the text, blah, 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 there's evidence, close quote. What she's trying to say is we all feel a variety of emotions at different ages, and these emotions make us stay young. See what I just did there? I took this very long paragraph. Now, I'm exaggerating a bit. Obviously, if I was really doing this, I'd probably take 20 minutes to do this or 10 minutes to show you, right? I'm just trying to illustrate how it's done, right? Obviously, I ignored all of this down here that he wrote, but I'm just trying to give you a quick example of how you might do this, okay? All right, guys. Hopefully that's been helpful. And if this video is part of the homework, be sure to read the directions with the homework so that you're ready. So this is probably going to be assigned on Wednesday and be due by Friday. Okay. Friday, we're going to meet for a regular session. And then Monday will be part 2 of week 6. And then next Wednesday, the 15th, and Friday, the 17th, there's no class at all. I'll be out of the country. All right.